the truth.
Alright, what is up everybody? I'm out here on my deck making a video, because this is how I do it. You're in the middle, you're walking through it. Through this crazy year and through this time, I haven't exactly been on YouTube very much. I haven't really been on the YouTube game like I want to be, and there's just so much going on in my heart, my mind, and my soul, and outside of me, just probably like yourself. And so it's important to connect and to be on here together and to let you guys know that I have more resources for you. And so I created this sensory-motor somatic hyperbody awareness OCD foundational guide that I posted in a post format on my YouTube already. So the link is there, and it's also going to be in this video description below, and a lot more other stuff as well. And so I wanted to get on here and talk really quick just about everything that's going on, staying connected, and also some advocacy topics and treatment awareness options that I wanted to get out there for you guys to know and realize is going on and is a thing to be aware of. So anyways, so yeah, this guide I made, I've already made a guide before, last year in July actually, ironically. And so now this one is new and improved. It is very much more clear cut, to the point, step by step, and it focuses on the questions that I have received from everyone's able to really see over this past year what questions are being asked by who and how frequently certain questions are coming up. It's quite long because question one, well, in section one, I go over the foundational truth. So that's apart from the questions that I get asked, because a lot of the times the questions that I get asked for help can't be answered first without the foundation of knowledge to debunk the disorder for you, and so you're able to understand root of what is really going on. And so otherwise my answers probably wouldn't make any sense, and my answers wouldn't really be helpful if you didn't have that foreknowledge. And so that is a big section of the guide. So living at home and trying to make a video is kind of hard. So paying off debt, you know, that's why I live at home still. But hey, all I gotta say about that is that we all have a different journey, take a different path, and that your success and what makes you happy is not going to look like that of what the world says the hoops you have to jump through are. So no, very hard to get ourselves to change what we believe about something that we've been going through that's personally devastating to us, or it seems to be, and that is very intimately affecting us. And so when it's easy to grip the wrong way your understanding of this disorder. And so of OCD, and honestly of life in general and mental health. Like if our paradigms are ill and wrong, then we can expect everything else to shoot out from them. It's just like when God said He is the vine and we are like the branches. So a lot of the earth, a lot of people are rooted on the rotten vine that of the world and of a lot of the bad things in the world and of, you already know, so the darkness in the world. And so similarly, when we need to be rooted in a good vine of understanding and a good root that comes from the light and that is sourced in truth and light. For me, that's Jesus, and for you guys, I hope that is him too. But this video we're talking about, what I mean is I'm kind of making a metaphor as we have to have our understanding rooted in the truth, and that comes from this guide, that comes from my videos. I don't want to say it's all from me, but there's a lot of this is also proven and is documented and is incorporated into actual scientifically, psychologically, professionally researched sources. So it's not just from me. So what I mean is we need to be rooted in a good vine so that the branches of our recovery are sprouting out with good fruits and good results and are good branches, and they don't just fall off. So you can say that in a spiritual way or a mental health way. So whatever spirituality and whatever truth and mental health that we're all rooted in, I believe that both go very hand in hand. I believe that they're seriously connected, our internal and our spiritual health, mental, spiritual. So if we're rooted in the good vine, if we're rooted in the truth, then everything there from the start of it onward will grow into the way of truth and light and health and actual healing and recovery. And so that's one of the big things I want to do with that guide. And so is helping people with that and sending this to them first and allowing people to read this and still doing one-on-one discussions, voice messages, and helping people with that more personal aspect of this that I can't answer in a guide or have written down, because those answers and questions and moments change with each person, each individual, because we're all so unique. And so that we'll still be doing, but this is meant to speed up the process. So anyways, what have you guys been up to? I know that we don't really talk much about our personal lives on this channel other than what we're going through with mental health, but I think it's really important to have that aspect of community in our lives, is to just focus on some lighter topics and some funner things sometimes that we still need to do, and I believe is always a part of life and recovery. And I've been doing gardening, a lot of gardening. I love plants now. Just with everything going on too, I want to say that right now, it's good to, I think, important to mention this, is that right now, I've never seen so many conspiracy theories coming up and paranoia and just so much of this combativeness, this really just almost like this psychotic and irrational spirit of and state of mind that some people have about every issue that's going on and every move the government's making to help stop this pandemic, particularly about masks, particularly about just this pandemic and everything going on this year. And it's just this endless cycle. I've never seen so much division, and with the racial issues and everything, all of it is very real, and it could be very dangerous. And so I think that the number one thing that we need to do is to stay out of the conspiracy theory and to realize that there is a beacon of light and truth in everything, and that we have to find it, and that we have to stay there and seriously have faith. And this is about trust and faith and about humility. And so there is a scripture that I want to read from that God, and I lead with God's word. That's what I'm going to do. And so I could say all of what I want about this, and I know that it largely doesn't do very much good, and it's not necessarily effective, because God says that his words are the ones that stand. His words are the one that prevail. It's his words that have the ability to heal, change, and grow, and to move people, and to move life. And he truly does lead with the truth and wisdom. And so what I want to say about this period in time right now, where it's so easy to flare up in debates, discussions about every possibility, alt left, alt right, all of these things, all of that is trash. And I just want to say now to be careful, to stay out of it, and to cultivate trust and faith in your heart towards your higher power and towards God. Please guys, like, it's Jesus, it is. And so regardless of any experience you've had, but I'm not starting my preaching yet, so I'm just going to leave it there for now, and I'll speak to you the word of the Lord from Isaiah 8:11-15 on this matter. Fear God and wait for the Lord. For the Lord spoke this to me with his strong hand upon me, and warned me to not walk in the ways of this people. And when he says this people, it means the majority now. For us now, it means the majority of the world, the masses. So, saying, do not call conspiracy all that this people calls conspiracy, and do not fear what they fear, nor be in dread. But the Lord of hosts, him you shall honor as holy. Let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he will become a sanctuary and a stone of offense and a stumbling block to the both house of Israel, a trap and a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many shall stumble on it. They shall fall and be broken. They shall be snared and taken. And so this is very clear that that God does not want us to be worried and paranoid and to be calling conspiracy what is popular and what is called conspiracy in this world, such as mask wearing, voting by mail, the whole pandemic, the cashless society thing, the New World Order, all of these things, just not necessary and does no good for us to banter and worry and fear these things that could be, and what are we going to do about it? We can't do anything about that. And so the ultimate plan is the one that God has set, and it's a good one, and we need to ask him about that. And the conspiracy should be, where are we at in there, and what are we lacking in knowledge and faith? So how can I fix that? Because our time is now. The time is now to reach true salvation in God. So another thing I wanted to mention as well is that during this time, I think a ton of people as well, given what I just said about the division in America and how toxic of an environment there is right now, is that I think we really need to be checking on each other. We really need to be making sure that our mental health is not being abandoned, forgotten about from our friends, from our distant family, and from our neighbor, just literally anyone that's around us. And so my encouragement is to reach out to everyone that you know and just to see how they're doing with everything, where they stand, and the things and the feelings that they have going on, and just be an ear for them. Just be there to listen and to give them a word of balance, of peace and truth and hope. Help to neutralize the toxicity, to neutralize the doomsday thought scenarios that we can all have. And I know that it will help, and the person will greatly appreciate it, I'm pretty sure. And so it doesn't mean that you have to dive super deep into these topics and to figure it out and to share your opinion, but to simply be a voice and a presence of help and love, and that is neutral, and that is one that is not like the narrative of the world. And so that, I think, is how we can really help each other in this time, is to take ourselves out of these narratives, to take ourselves out of these things, and to really help change. Okay, and so the next piece I wanted to talk about in this video is the 988 mental health hotline initiative that is being advanced through the Senate and to the House. And so what that is basically is just like 911, but not a criminal line, but it's a mental health hotline number that is quick and easy to remember, and that is greatly needed in America, I think. And so I really want to advocate for that and express what that's all about. Recently, it was passed by the FCC to begin implementation by July 16th, 2022. So it'll take 2 years for this hotline to come up and running. But now there's still some things that need to be done for it. So, and it's a great thing. So it's not operational yet. We still have to use the old suicide prevention line or crisis text line number. And so there's still more work to be done in the House. And so you guys can take action by calling or sending a letter or a message that it can either be pre-written or written by you to express your personal views on this and how important it is to you to have this passed by the House, because there's still more work that needs to be done. And so NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, is a great organization, and I'm actually going to talk about all that next, about how we have local chapters of that and how we can be more aware and involved locally when things are, we're more able to get out and about and do stuff like that, which will be soon. So, and I'm going to put the links to all of these articles and these resources in the description below, so definitely check it out. So NAMI is now focused on the U.S. House of Representatives passage of the National Suicide Hotline Designation Act of 2020. So that is what 988 is. Because right now there's a 1-800 number. You know, when you're having a crisis, it's kind of difficult to be like, okay, like what if we had to go like 1-800, like every time you need to call 911 if there's like an emergency going on right in front of you and you need to call 911, like it's not easy to be like, what if we had to go, okay, 1-800-911-9314? Like that is not ideal. So why is it that when we're going through a crisis and we're barely able to get to the energy or the headspace or the bravery, the openness to actually reach out in a call, because it can be scary. And so having to go and find this number in that state of mind can be even harder, and it can kind of do us a disservice, I think. So the 988 mental health hotline is a great thing, and we all need this. We all need to have this resource available, and I think it would be also a good step in a direction overall for America to start to actually have more implemented for mental health care in its infrastructure and in the ground up. And so it's like, why is it that we have, you know, so many ways to address crime and so much to address the surface of crime, mass incarceration, which is, don't even get me started, and all of the policing and all of this, and which are hot issues right now, which I'm not going to get into, I just said. But I know that we need to look at the deeper issue that lies seriously within, and it is our mental health, our spiritual health, and ultimately sin. And so, but that is for a different video. Important aspect to solving these problems with our society, it does lie in our mind and our heart. It does lie inside our mental health and our spiritual health. And so the 988 mental health hotline is very important. And so the last thing I want to talk about as well is helpful organizations to be familiar with. There was literally an endless, like a huge list on Google that you can go and find and put together and realize, like, there are so many organizations that want to hear from you, that would love to help you, and that want to share your story, or at least hear your story, and to try to help others, just like what we do here, just like what I'm doing here. So I know there's an NAMI Duluth. There's probably an NAMI in your city if you live in a bigger city, or even like a medium-sized one. Duluth is not very big. So there is an option out there to have this connection with a more professional service that can really help you get set up with more options of therapy, more advanced resources. Another thing I want to say as well is that when it comes to organizations and when it comes to resources, definitely take the time to do your research. Definitely look into all the options you have. Throw your net as far as it'll go, because it's difficult right now in this pandemic. Remember, it's not really business as usual, so you're not going to be able to just walk into a place and have an appointment as usual. I actually have an appointment with my psychiatrist coming up, and it's a telehealth appointment, which I didn't know. So now I have to just make sure I have the link and I have my technology charged and everything. There's other things you have to think about, and make sure you have a good internet, Wi-Fi connection, all of that. And so, but I want to give you guys a word of encouragement to say, you know, that to try that out. Go ahead and do that. Put yourself out there. You are worthy, you are worth it, and you are more important than to just sit back and be complacent and brush your issues under the rug another day. No day should be like that. So I just want to say that there is a ton of online OCD, particularly with Somatic and Sensomotor OCD and Pure help available, and so I wanted to outline that in the guide, and I did. And so I have all sorts of links in the guide to go and look over at the very end of the guide. So very helpful articles on somatic OCD. These are some harder to find ones that are, I think, accurate and don't lead people astray or scare people. Another resource I have is Find Help, some good treatment options, and this is a big one, so check this out, because I put all of the online counseling and online treatment options that I could find. You know, and of course there is a price that comes with these things, and one thing I want to say is that it just kind of makes my blood boil how hard and expensive it is to get treatment in America. So if you don't live here, you're probably better off, but Americans, unfortunately, we have a lot of hoops to jump through to try to get help and treatment, and money and insurance. That all is in the mix. That's all difficult to deal with. But I just want to say this: do not let any of those obstacles stop you. Not one price point, one option is too much or too little for us to expand our healing, to learn more, and to get that treatment the right way, and to go through the trial and error, which can be hard and agonizing sometimes, but it's so much more important to do that, and to, rather than to fail to get yourself back up and do some trial and error, and now you have to fail a couple times with not realize a certain route isn't working for you. But it's better than to fail doing nothing and being at home and not doing anything. And so realizing that there are treatment options out there that work during a pandemic, that are available, and that there is financial aid out there. There is so much. And so I'm praying for everyone. I'm praying that there would be more awareness of telehealth, and that it's becoming bigger now because we have to. So that is going to be a really good thing. And I know, and not only that, there's a lot of readings out there that I've been really trying to push more, and I have that in the guide as well. So taking the time to educate yourself a little bit every day, or at least once a week, depending on how you're doing and how comfortable you're with on this, that is probably the best thing to do. Or maybe you don't want to do that at all. Maybe you just want to get better, be done with it, know who, you know where you stand, and you know how to address these things moving forward. So either way, by doing this, that will achieve that as well, I think, for you. And so, yeah, definitely check these things out. I'm going to copy and paste the end of the guide stuff into the below section as well. So look into these things. There are so many options to really engage with other people who are more available than me, who do this full time for a living, and which I might one day, but for now, this is how I'm doing it. And so I just do this for you guys, and for the fact that, yeah, so much awareness, so much more strength and resilience we can be capable of. And I really want everyone to discover that in them, and to carry that with them every day, and to be like, wow, like I really can do this. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna be good. I love you guys very much, and let me know how you're doing. And I'm going to be posting a poll too soon to see what topics, like to what video titles you'd want to see coming out, because I'm a little bit like, I don't know what videos to make. So because I have a lot I want to address in spirituality and in Christianity and in the Word of God, because it's largely misunderstood, and a lot of times it's attacked, a lot of times it's just hated, and it's just very sad. It's very heartbreaking because it's not true. That's not the way it is truly. So so I would like to ask you guys what you would like to know about what I believe, and about Christianity, and about the Word of God, and how it intertwines with our world right now, how it always has, and how it intertwines with the church, churches that have gone astray, churches who are not, and also mental health, and how it intertwines with our mind. And I've already made videos on this, but yeah, there's so much I want to talk about. I just don't want to like overwhelm you guys and have it be just too much. So, but gotta start somewhere. So, yeah, God bless you guys. I will talk to you later.